think going to Norway is going to be the same as going to any other country. You need to have an open mind.
It's appealing to travel, it's appealing to go kind of see that culture.
I haven't been out of North America so far, and so I guess I was a little leery of the whole plan.
It's appealing to do an exchange. Is exciting to have someone come here and see how they dance and then go there and share how we dance.
We live in completely different countries, completely different lifestyles.
We're really excited about dancing and kind of showing our way of dancing to them, and then perhaps learning some of their dancing in return.
I don't know what to expect at all.
In first grade, I had a boy from Norway in my class.
That area in the world I just know nothing about.
And I remember him talking about eating goat brains, I believe, for dinner, but that's about all I know about Norway.
I don't really know what to expect.
We talked about how to say thank you today, but I don't think I remember. Talk?
I don't like talking to people I don't know, so that will be difficult.
I think it's exciting.
I think it will be interesting and will hopefully make me better at talking to people I don't know, and maybe I'll learn some cool music.
We have no idea what we're walking into with this whole Norwegian setup. Is a completely new thing.
Yeah, I guess I'm looking forward to it, but
I think we'll have something in common somewhere along the lines. I mean, they do Norwegian dance. I have no idea what kind of dance they do, but obviously it's something special to them, and Morse dancing is kind of something special to us, so kind of having that dance connections.
It was amazing dancing with them. Just going after school and having field hockey and then going to a dinner with them and dancing with them for the evening was just kind of an amazing change, but it was just so much fun. A different kind of dancing than I've ever done before. The boys were just so good at dancing that you felt good because you could just kind of do whatever they directed you to do with their hands. While we were dancing, I had one thing that I couldn't figure out how to do, and so every time I messed up, he'd go, "It's difficult. It's difficult, no?" It's way more exciting now. Before, it was kind of an idea, and it wasn't very real. And afterwards, the day after they left, I went into school and I ran into my friends on the Morse team and we were like, "Oh no, what are we going to do without them for like 3 months?" So we're really excited to go back and just kind of meet them and to learn more of their dancing, definitely, because that was so exciting. And to be able to go teach them more of ours, because we didn't teach that much, is also really exciting. But definitely just to meet them, because I think when they left, the thing I wanted most was a little more time, because we'd kind of been thrown together and thrown apart and thrown together every evening, and we just needed a little more time to sit down and talk to each other.
We both had selected ourselves to dance. We both it's a very self-selecting group. It's a lot easier to dance with somebody than to talk to them. So I'm really excited about going to Norway.
Oh, of course I was excited, but now that we've sort of had a little snippet of their culture.
A base to it that we don't have, a depth that we don't have in America. Because it's a very old place. I mean, we're from all over the world, and Norway is Norwegian, and they live there for a while.
And now we have to wait a few months. It's a build-up. Anya's counting down.
From the Fairbanks Museum in St. Johnsbury, Vermont, welcome to this morning's edition of An Eye on the Sky. Some periods of heavy snow fell overnight. They have diminished, but a new area of heavier snow is now starting to
start
develop.
off up here in Grafton County with the Mass School, the Ray School in Hanover closed, Canaan Elementary, Crossroads Academy, Enfield Elementary and Francis Richmond Middle School are closed, Hanover High School, Haverhill Middle School, Indian River School in Lebanon, New Hampshire.
Somewhere between 12 and 16 inches across the higher elevations, and up to 20 inches.
Driving conditions, of course, are extremely hazardous this morning. If you do have to be out on the roads, please use extra caution today.
We were going to leave at 2, meet at the meeting house and drive down with different people. But then the snow was so bad that we had to bump it down to taking the 11 o'clock bus. We got to the bus and there were a whole bunch of people there, and we were all really excited to go on the bus.
We're going to Norway. I'm really excited. Where are you going today? Norway. Oh my God.
Thank goodness none of us drove down, because Sherry saw 4 or 5 cars off the road, and we just were really glad that none of the parents had to come back in the storm, because it was pretty bad.
That's goodbye in Norwegian.
We got to the airport, got in there at 1:30 and it wasn't open. So we had to wait in the baggage check place, and so there were not that many seats, so we had all our baggage stuffed in one little place. I think we just sat and read magazines and books and just laughed. And danced. Yeah. Well, we did dance, we danced. We got some really weird looks. But people liked it. The people that were trying to go somewhere, they were around us and trying. Someone actually went through us, I believe.
Left, right, under, left, under, right, back. Together.
The Norwegian team was also they were great people, and everything was for us, and they were waiting for us, and so when we came we really felt that we were welcomed, and every day, every minute.
How are you doing? I see you. I can't believe we're here. I'm exhausted. How are you? Yes, must be tired. Was it good?
I'm really exhausted right now. When you get up tomorrow and you've slept for 14 hours, you'll feel good.
The day we arrived, we came in and the boys were already sitting at one table. There wasn't really any room, and I kind of looked at them and I was like, hi. hi. And they continued talking, and then I went over into another corner and sat down with the more dancing girls. And that was kind of our total interaction for the entire evening.
For the first day.
Like, we looked at each other, and we sat in our corner and were like, should we go talk to them?
Awkward. Very awkward. Karin had said that they were really excited to have us come, but they didn't show that they were very obvious. They're very excited.
When I walked in, it was a line of boys sitting. They were all facing forward in these chairs, and I was just like, hi. I felt like they were just like the little peanut gallery right there. And I imagined the first day of it being like this huge, enthusiastic reunion.
Talking to the boys, you didn't really want to go in and just say something random, but that was kind of all you could do because you had no idea what they were talking about. And they were always talking in their little groups, and so they're obviously having a conversation. You'd have to interrupt, and then you'd have absolutely nothing to say.
In order to avoid that, we almost never went up to them to start conversations. So I felt like we were like spastic, hyper girls from America.
I'm perky. I'm ready to roll. Tomorrow they'll all look like this. You'll look like this tomorrow. Perky, ready to roll.
The rest of the week will be pretty busy. So relax as much as you can right now. Have all of you met your host families now?
The first day when we got there, I was feeling sick and yucky, and then I went upstairs to have dinner with them, and it made me feel a lot better to just sit with them and feel like I had a family there.
Yesterday our families took us to Oslo, and we first met at the ski jump, and we climbed up the ski jump, and you could look down all over the Oslo and the fjord.
I like climbing to the top of the big ski jump and looking down and having the whole thing shake when we were up there, much like this bus is shaking.
I like the ski jump because you could see a lot of where we were, and it totally blew me away about like we were in Norway. We were actually looking at Norwegian houses and Norwegian roads and
to see these huge black boats and just kind of like your image of a Viking. I mean, kind of a dark night and dark boats.
I really like the sculpture park.
We were there at sunset, which was really nice because the lighting was gorgeous.
It was really golden, and one side of the statue was kind of golden, and then the other side was this dark color.
Although it was really cold, the statues were beautiful and they were everywhere.
They were humans in all these very interesting positions.
They seemed like they had a different kind of personality and features. Some had a kind of an unhappy expression, some were in pain, some were really, I don't know, joyful.
They're all these kind of odd positions.
You little kids, get out of me!
Very cute. Quadruplets. That's some job.
There was one statue with a face like this.
Different naked people and their interactions and the different energies which each statue had, like the pouting 3-year-old and the inquisitive 3-year-old and the people that were really old and the young people.
They didn't seem to fit with our theme, our nautical theme from the museums, but they were cool anyway. Cool. I like the tower particularly of the generations, as I'd have put it.
The enormity of the one big sculpture.
Biggest one in the center, it was a tall pillar with all the bodies piled on top of each other, and then the babies at the top. The symbol of how our ancestors are part of who we are, and they hold us up and they help us to become who we are.
Everyone was so open to like nakedness, and like we went to schools and there were statues of naked people, and it's just so natural and something that in our culture is kind of pushed away.
So first performance went really well, so from that point we knew that it's gonna be so much fun.
younger kids, especially in the elementary schools, it was really hard.
Kindergarten through 5th grade, and none of them spoke much English at all.
Even a couple of them, when I said thank you, they just looked at me kind of.
They just were so connected with us just by eyes, by emotions.
It's a neat way for that sort of situation to interact with, for your little kids to interact with people from other countries.
Often it was just wild hand gestures or, yeah, you're there.
You could just grin at them and they'd grin back at you.
I was using like broken, terribly accented Norwegian, and I could say maybe 3 things and they didn't recognize it as Norwegian. And we just like smiled and waved and grinned at each other, and that was our language. We didn't really speak. It was funny teaching dances because we'd give directions in English, and we'd kind of like push them around and turn them this way. And Tura wrote Høyre and Venstre on my hands, which is left and right. I think left and right or right and left, one of them. And it was funny because we'd do like a right hand star, and I'd stick my right hand and it would say like Høyre on it, and everyone would kind of smile in the circle.
I think the last dance we did was Un, deux, trois, poussez. I was dancing with this little boy who didn't really want to be dancing. He was not into it, but his teacher kind of pushed him at me, and he reluctantly came along. And then every time we got to the arming, he was so into that. And the Un, deux, trois, poussez, after that I'd turn around and there'd be this huge smile on his face, and I think he really got into it.
I just like to sit with my music and just look out the window, just at everything that passed. Huge mountains in the background. I loved it. I loved bus rides. I liked it when they were longer.
I think the bus rides did help. That's a tiny, tiny bus, and you're all kind of packed in together.
I think we bonded a lot more. It brought us together, and I think a lot of experiences like that do. It's a really good bonding experience.
I remember being interviewed before we went on the trip. Going there and not knowing anything is going to make us a little bit closer as like people and as a team. There's some people on the team I really wish I could get a lot closer to, and I think this will like provide an opportunity for that. I got to know everyone a lot better.
The guys in Norway talked to me. It was the best day of my life.
When we came back, I felt like so much, I don't know, more included.
This group is a really remarkable group.
Sometimes people think that it's really hard for girls to be together for a week, like 24/7.
We do have a lot of common things. Like a lot of us we're really into music, we're really serious about our education, we like to read, and there are a lot of similarities, but in the end, it doesn't really matter if we have similarities or not. We still get along really well.
And we always have something that we can talk about or joke about.
It's an all-purpose awkward cough. Conversation starter. Yep.
Don't you have to do that with the Norwegian accent though? The
I think that on Wednesday we're gonna be so much better off with our Norwegians because we'll both be so excited to see each other.
I remember them doing traffic jam after we were done, and they were out on their playground during their break. They were stomp, 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 clap, 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 and then they go sashay. It was really great because it was like, oh my gosh, you got something out of that. And also they came and asked for autographs, which was really cool.
They all appreciated us, but really differently. So like little kids would just laugh and older kids would just ask us, and older kids or people would just be interested in cultural background.
Den lille jenta med Roland Strandberg, det er hun som vever deg vinebåndet.
Dei byen skuter dei så veike, dei kjem ikkje opp på dei høge luta. Og brilla har dei bak og små, og legg jo smale så ampestråsa.
The first thing we had to get used to was having Norwegian surrounding us and having people go off into other conversations.
I think the most important thing I know is Belarge jeg snakker ikke norsk, which is, I'm sorry, I don't speak Norwegian.
By the end of the week I just sat there and I was like, oh, Norwegian's really nice sounding.
It's hard and it has a lot of weird accents. And then you can add on many things to talk. Takk for hjelpen, which is Nancy and my favorite phrase. I think it was kind of important to be able to say at least 3 things to them. Last night we were trying to say thank you to Tora for buying our food and helping us out in the restaurant. And so we didn't really know what to say, so we were kind of just spontaneously going talk, and I just went takk for hjelpen. Yeah, I found a website that would speak the words. So that was cool, because I could finally hear it, and it was slow. For the first couple of nights, it was a little tough for me and Nancy and our host family.
They usually had the TV on in the kitchen when we were eating, and we would just be laughing at the commercials.
And randomly, Nancy and I would repeat words like, oh, say something in Norwegian, and our host family loved it. They got a kick out of it, and they started throwing their hands up and gesturing and speaking rapidly in Norwegian to one another and trying to come up with the right word, what that was in English. And I think while we were learning the language at the same time, we were becoming closer with each other and with our host family. It's kind of a common practice now at the end of sports seasons to give out awards for the team members. And so Jane kind of did this for us at the end of Norway. I think language is my calling, and I got the literary Norwegian language award. I would hear sounds, like beginnings of words or syllables that would sound a lot like English, and I'd kind of be like, whoa, they're speaking English. No, they're not, because I think we're both Germanic languages or something like that. Upon giving it to me, Jane said, well, you have to translate it by our first practice. And of course she was joking, but I did it anyway. It's vilde der, and it means wild animals. Hey min ven, jeg en camel. How about not? Okay. It says, hi, my friend, I am a camel.
Some of the most stunning sights are from the bus windows. And there were times when all of us would be leaning out one side of the bus because there was some really pretty snow-capped mountain.
You feel so little. You feel like it's kind of just part of what it is to be Norwegian, to have these huge mountains around you. And to be looking out the window and seeing that as you're driving along for hours, you never get bored.
Norway is sometimes said to be a nation of contemplative people, so don't expect a conversation to start up spontaneously.
I really liked going to English classes.
People were really interested in everything.
Everybody was so friendly and interested in us and where we came from and what it was like back home, who we were and why we were there.
It's always shocked me that, like, what many people in the world think of America, and they assumed we were all like the people in the movies, all like the mean girls and the clique in that one movie. It was kind of my time to stand up and be like, no, not everyone thinks like this, not everyone believes this, not everyone acts like this. This is my family, this is my dog, this is my house, this is my brother, these are my friends, and look, they're not like the people in the cinema, they're not crazy, they're normal, they're like you.
I was amazed at the one school we went where the mayor had sent a message welcoming us and saying he wished he was there but he was sick. He thought it was so important for us to do this kind of exchange, which is probably true, especially because we come from a sort of rural area and we were in rural areas where they probably don't get to see that many foreigners, and we don't either.
A lot of people had trouble with the English barrier. They were too shy to try out their English, but other people just say, I don't know much English, but I'm still curious.
I met 2 girls who I talk to online, like regularly, and I email, and I ate lunch with them, and I talked to them, and I got to know them there.
And knowing that even though you're from 2 totally different cultures, you're sitting there and communicating. It wasn't just them asking us questions, it was us asking them questions. Like, we got to go learn about them as much as they were learning about us. It was so cool to make those connections with kids, and you felt so excited afterwards. It was just like, it's such a satisfying thing to connect with someone who doesn't speak your language and know that you've made that connection and like both appreciated each other.
Oh, the little kids. Oh, they are so cute.
So we were invited to go to the dance practice for a night, and upstairs there were all the men doing the hauling, and downstairs there were the little kids doing the hauling. And there was one little boy who'd stand in line and he'd kick his feet up on his shoulders, and then he'd look really proud of himself.
Last night in the kitchen, Hannah and I asked about hauling because the man in our house is the person who taught Sigborn and Tom and all the kids, Ivan and Sondra, his son, he taught them the hauling.
We had dancing parties till 1 in the morning. We just danced in our hallways and in the kitchen and tried to do hauling.
He showed us a few steps in the kitchen, and Hannah and I practiced kicking my slipper out of somebody's hand. And he even smiled a couple times. But he did say it is a man's dance, which I agree. I'm sure it probably is.
The girls tried, but it wasn't like, it obviously wasn't like a girl thing to do. And then there were like 3 little boys who were really good at it, or really wanted to be good at it. all the boys got to the pole,
he'd stand in front of the hat and go,
it was so cocky. He like jumped up really high and he kicked it off and then he fell on his back. And he did that every time he did it. I mean, he'd do this really dramatic fall and he'd
kick the hat off, right?
But he always got the hat off. My mom talked to him afterwards and she said, "You're gonna be the hauling champion when you're older." And he said, "Yes, I am."
I asked if women ever do it, and he said, "Oh yeah, but it's a man's dance."
One night we were like, okay, we really need to mingle with these people. We need to get to know them. Like, what's the point of an exchange if we don't, like, exchange?
One table there was a lot of people and they were all talking about just all sorts of stuff, normal teen talk.
So I was like, you know what, guys, I'm leaving. I was talking to like Anya and Anna or someone and Nancy, and I was like, well, I'm gonna go talk to Ula and his friends, the quiet, sullen adolescent boys in the corner. So I stood up from my meal and went over and sat down in the seat next to my host brother. The table went silent. They were jabbering in Norwegian about some video game or something, and the table went silent, and I was like, hey. And they kind of leaned back, I leaned forward, leaned back, leaned forward, and by the end of the conversation, I was kind of like this across the table, and they were all kind of like doing this with their hands, and that kind of was a disaster. But, well, it was an attempt.
It was better because we could dance with them, and they could show us what they knew. They just were a lot more open to being like communicating with us.
We just wanted to get everybody dancing because that was sometimes the way to kind of break the ice.
They loved it. Mari was like, oh, I love that penguin dance we did. Ivan's brother's girlfriend was laughing hysterically, like bent over the whole dance.
Teaching them was fun because, I don't know, just sharing with them what we do here.
That was our biggest form of communication with the male Norwegians, I think, is dancing with them. Because near the end we would all just like walk up to one of them and they'd take us and just start dancing.
I think for us it was learning their dancing, and my guess is for them it was learning our dancing.
It was more a way to get to know each other without having to talk. It was just a common ground for us to start from.
I really liked the dancing because it was so peaceful.
Their dance is different, the music is different, the rhythm, it's so gracious,
It does seem calmer, but then the boys start whacking their shoes and stuff. But it seems very fluid.
Dancing the girls' part in that type of dance is you're totally under the control of the person who's the boy. And so you're there and you're trusting them to send you where you're gonna go. And you keep looking at them to make sure you're doing everything right. And I think having that level of kind of like trust and also excitement, because it's just so much fun. The music is amazing and the dancing is amazing, and you're dancing with a really cute Norwegian boy who doesn't speak to you, but he'll hold your hand and spin you in circles.
Norwegian dancing is even more of a tradition for them because, like Mari said, we asked her, has your family always been Norwegian? And she's like, yeah, they're Norwegian all the way back to the Vikings. I loved that day. We had a great time.
Tiger is simply because Oslo is called the tiger capital.
We had so much freedom. We could just really do what we wanted, but we knew that because we were with other people, we were safe.
Remembering walking down this street, Karl Johansgate, and seeing the palace at one end, and on the sides there are all these amazing, beautiful old buildings, and just being like, oh my gosh, I'm walking the streets of Oslo and I'm in Norway, and this is so incredible. I just can't believe this is happening. Like, it's been such a dream for me for so long. I just couldn't believe it.
Being on our own, and it was also a really good break from the dancing. Like, we were tired. I think we were very tired by Thursday. I think we had a little bit of group tension because we were all just so tired that you just kind of start snipping, and being able to just kind of go away and then come back together and be like, oh my god, it's all these tales, and go on and on and on and on. We got our Norwegian sweaters in the secondhand store.
I saw one that had fringe on that was really kind of cool. Yeah, there was one like that over here.
How was your day today in Oslo?
It was great. Libby and I had so much fun. We went and got our pictures taken in a photo booth.
Really?
Yes, we really couldn't figure out how to use the
great
machine
story.
either. Yes.
We kept pressing the red button. We were like,
thought we
how
had all
many
those
pictures did we get on the 50
photos? It's crazy.
Can I see it?
Yeah. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Want to see it, Thomas?
Oh, cool.
Aww.
The best night, though, at least for me, was the Friday night at the pizza party that we had.
There were no adults there. It was all the kids, and it was amazing how much the Norwegians just kind of relaxed and opened up.
Eventually, we all kind of converged around one table, and we talked about driver's licenses.
And I was like, oh wow, they can actually hold conversations.
We just like talked. We didn't, you know, say, oh, what do you do? Kind of slow, awkward talk. But we actually like had a real conversation with them.
Towards the end, I felt a lot more comfortable around them, which made it a lot sadder to leave because as soon as we kind of got this connection, we had to go.
Christina and I got to be really good friends with both Sundra and Torbjörn, and we ended up staying up until 4 in the morning one night just talking for about 6 hours. We talked, and that was so different from when we went into like the social groups and he was with the boys and we were with the girls.
Sigborn was with them and he was leading them, and there's like Sigborn and then 3 little guys, and they're so cute. Oh my god.
Saturday night, we did so much dancing together, and I came away from that with a sense of kind of unity within the Norwegians and us. We could share our traditions, and yet we didn't have to really worry about making conversation. It really created a common ground because it's not popular dancing. It's not hip hop or something that you'll see on TV. It's dancing that has these deep roots in history and deep roots in tradition. It has to do with us keeping alive some sort of tradition.
Don't do what I say! Do what I'm thinking!
zebra runs and the ostrich bends down, and then it says avslinging, avsluting, end.